pagination logic, I can go with one more repository called as paging and sorting repository. Okay. By default, paging and sorting repository is typically a one more repository which is ahead of CRUD repository. Okay. So what I'm trying to teach today is we are introducing one more repository called as a JPA repository. Okay. Now JPA repository versus CRUD repository. I have not explained this, right, guys? I have not explained this one, right?
Yes.
Yes. So today I'm going to explain this an important interview question here. So by default, we are going to have three repositories: CRUD repository, paging and sorting repository, as well as JPA repository. There are totally three repositories are available: CRUD, paging and sorting, as well as JPA. Okay. CRUD repository by default provides CRUD functionalities, CRUD operations only. Let me repeat. CRUD repository provides only CRUD operations. Means whatever till now I explained: find all, find by ID, save, delete by ID, save all, find all by ID, derived query, named query, query, native query. All these things are completely part of CRUD repository only. 95% of the cases I can handle with CRUD repository only. There are few exceptional cases like pagination, sorting, as well as some asynchronous operations. I can use advanced data JPA related to JPA repository it is created. Okay. An interviewer is going to ask you a question. What is the CRUD repository? What is a JPA repository? What is the difference between CRUD repository and JPA repository? When you will go with CRUD repository, when you will go with JPA repository? This is a typical question will be asked in the interviews. And today's my class is especially useful for this particular topic. Okay. So by default, I'm going to explain here. CRUD repository provides mainly on a CRUD operations as well as paging and sorting repository. This is typically only for CRUD operations as well as pagination operations. CRUD repository, CRUD operations, and what is pagination and sorting repository is taking is internally it is taking the CRUD repository, and extra things are it is creating a pageable object as well as sort object. Yesterday I explained, right? Pageable object as well as sort object, right? So pageable object as well as from sort object, which is it is created. And one more repository is there, which is a JPA repository, which is having some extra functionalities. If at all, if you are working with a multi-threading framework and you are having some issues, and JPA repository is designed for multi-threading frameworks, like flushing the persistence context. Okay, what I am trying to teach here is, here you see that, right? JPA repository provides some advanced methods: flushing the persistence context and deleting the records in a batch. What is meant by flush, sir? What exactly meaning of a flush? Any idea? Flushing means what? It's a normal typical word only, right, guys? Flushing.
It's cleaning.
Yes, flushing means cleaning. Correct, right? Flushing means it's a cleaning. Correct? It's a normal typical mode only, right? Yes. So what do we need to clean? Why we need to clean persistence context? What exactly the scenario is? For example, I'm going to explain a real-time example on this. Okay. What is my real-time example is there will be a Tatkal ticket system. I have one ticket is available, but 10 people are accessing. One ticket is only available, but 10 people are accessing. What exactly our approach here? Whichever the system is take the first record, it is going to process. Meanwhile, all the 9 other records will be on hold status. Okay. If the first record is success, the remaining 9 will be waste. If the first record is failed, the remaining 9 will get an option. Right? That is a typical situation, right? So whenever we are having at the time of reading, the 10 people are there, one ticket is there, all 10 threads knows that there is a one record still open. All the 10 threads, it's a thread memory will be available, right? All the 10 threads will be having an idea where typically it is going to take care of all 10 threads will have one ticket is available. Maybe first thread is trying whether success or failure of the first thread operation. It should update to all the other threads. It should clear the context of other thread memories. Hey, I'm done with the ticket booking. It is not available. It should update to all other 9 threads. No, I'm not done yet. It is available yet. So the context of other threads, thread context will be cleared off. That is internally taking off. So whenever you are saving, instead of saving, you can flush. It is not going to save the database. It is going to clear all the cache memories of all the threads. So that is the flushing the persistent context where you can use JPA repository to flush the persistence context, as well as deleting the records in a particular batch. Everyone is clear on flushing the persistent context, guys? As of now, everyone is clear on flushing the persistence context.
Yes.
Okay. Second point is deleting the records in a batch. What is deleting records in a batch is nothing but, okay. Again, I'm going to explain a real-time scenario. For example, I am having an account with the bank. For last 25 years, I am having an account with the bank. After that, I want to close my accounts. Now, when I am closing my account, all the data related to my account in the bank should be deleted. My accounts data, my loans data, my personal data, it may be 1 crore to 2 crores of records it may have. 20 years of relationship, right? It have lot of data, right? Now, as we know that deleting a particular record, it's going to take some time rather than inserting a record, rather than updating a record. Okay. Especially what I am trying to explain is when you are deleting a particular record, okay, it's okay. It is going to take some time. We can wait. Okay. But in a typical situation, if you want to delete lakhs of records, lot of time it is going to take. If you want this deleting of the records in a batch processing, what do you mean by batch processing? Rather than sending 1 crore delete statement at a time to database, I will send first 1 lakh, one batch, again 1 lakh, one more batch, again I'll send 1 more lakh, one by one, step by step by step. That kind of concept is called as batch processing. If I have 1 crore of records, first 1 lakh I will send it. After 1 lakh is done, next 1 lakh. After 1 lakh is done, next 1 lakh. After one like that, one by one, I am going to delete. Okay. So deleting the records in a batch. By default, if you can use JPARepository, this is especially useful for multi-threading framework. You can use JPARepository, which is having extra capabilities. Along with the CRUD repository, extra capabilities are pagination, sorting, flushing the persistence context, deleting the records in a batch. If you want all these things of functionality, you can use JPARepository. I want only pagination, paging and sorting repository. I want only CRUD operations, CRUD repository. So this is the typical concept of JPA repository versus CRUD repository. I hope someone asked me in the initial classes. I told that I'm going to update them. I forgot the name of the participant also. I told right at that time I'm going to teach in 10 classes. Maybe I exceeded 10 classes or not, I'm not sure. But this question was asked by one of your participant only. Okay. Is it clear now, everyone? CRUD repository versus JPA repository. Is it clear to everyone?
Yes.
Thank you.
So one more thing. Even for insert and update also, JPA provides some additional features when say in terms of concurrency.
By default, in inserting the record, you don't need concurrency.
Yes.
Okay. Updating the records also, you don't need any concurrency. Until if that update is blocked, or if the update is if this update is depends on other threads also, that time it is going to block. Like I am booking a ticket. Update, the ticket count will be I am increasing whenever a ticket is booked.
Yes.
Unless this update is really blocking for other threads. I have only one ticket is available, 10 threads are waiting. At that time, that concurrency internally managed by this particular framework only, it will not take the update of other 9 threads. It will only take the update from the first thread only.
Okay.
Right? Yeah.
Will you explain once again pagination and the sorting?
What do you mean by explain once again means? I didn't understand.
I didn't understand pagination and sorting.
By default, I didn't explain pagination and sorting. I explained today CRUD repository versus JPA repository. Okay. I didn't explain pagination and sorting. I have not explained that.
Yesterday I missed the class actually.
Okay. I told n number of times, if you miss a class, it's a problem with your end. Okay. Kindly please consider this is a one more reminder. If you are missing a class, it's my humble request. You can opt for recording sessions. If you don't opt for recording sessions, okay, then it's your responsibility to make sure that you need to attend daily. Okay. At any point of time, I already told every day, I'll give you 5 minutes of overview what I explained in yesterday's class. That 5 minutes overview you can get it. Okay. And it's not a professional ethic. Sir, my internet is not working. My electricity is not there. My phone charging was over. I'm occupied with office work. I have a network connectivity issue. These reasons, though it's a silly, are not silly because there are 52 participants are available in the class. I'll sincerely every participant and everything as a part of a class. Okay. I don't want to waste the time of mine as well as everyone. I'm clearly telling it's your responsibility to join at the right time. It's your responsibility to ask the questions whenever a topic is going on. It's your responsibility to attend a daily classes. It's your responsibility to practice the code. and it's your responsibility. If you are unable to attend the
Yes.
class, you can opt for recording.
Yesterday you didn't give the notes and also the code also you didn't give.
By default, I will share the code. I will give the notes once the topic is completed. Till now, I followed the same strategy. Okay. Before, if I give, you will not understand, right? If you want everyone, I'll give that also. Okay. The way of I teach is first I will explain the theory. Then I will explain the code. Then I will share the code. Yesterday, I have not started it. How can I share the code which I have not started? Okay.
Okay.
Sir, I don't care whether you explained or not. If you want send, I will send. It's not a problem. Rather than sending tomorrow, I'll send today only. There is no problem here. Again, you people only confused. Sir, whatever the code you shared, again, I didn't understand. Okay. I have these kind of confusions. Okay. That's why if you attend the classes daily, before I proceed further, any other questions? Okay. Now I'm going to teach about pagination as well as sorting. Okay. I'm going to start pagination and sorting. By default, Spring Boot is providing a pageable object. Okay. It is
Okay.
giving a pageable object which is having two properties, offset as well as size. Offset means the starting position from where you want to get the data. That's the starting position. From that position, how many records you need? 10 records, 20 records, 30 records, or 40 records. There are two properties in a pageable object. By default, Spring Boot is created a common object called as a pageable, which is having page number, that is a offset, and size, which is the size of the page. I mean, how many records you need. Also, there are other two properties, sort order, sort column, which are optional. Even though you don't give, nothing important here. Okay. If you want sorting as well as paging, then you need to give 4 columns. If you want only sorting, you can write the query. I explained in the named query and derived query. If you want only pagination, you can take a pageable object and you can only fill the 2 columns, not sort order, not sort column. Okay. So by default, whenever I write derived query, like service.find by service name, where for a given last name, I'm going to give these 4 values. Okay. For example, if you see here, service by find by last name, which is last name, there are 4 properties. You are able to see these 4 properties, right?
Yeah.
So the 4 properties means offset is 0. 0 means starting position. 10, first 10 records. Ascending order of the sorting on a sort column is last name. What I am asking, for a given last name, give me first 10 records. That is what I am mentioning as part of this particular logic. Okay. So which I am going to write a code for that. Okay. I already copied the previous code project, which is a previous code means whatever the named query and the native query, right? Now I'm going to write here a pageable. Now here I'm going to write here %DAO. Here I'm going to write pagination, where I'm going to write JPA repository. Even though you write, sorry,
Page and sorting.
what is that? I didn't understand. Paging and
Page
sorting
and-
repository. Yeah,
Page
but
and, page and sorting is not using.
JPA repository is a parent of all those things. Just now I explained, right?
Okay.
Okay. JPA repository, you can use paging and sorting repository also. This also is there, but no one will use. Okay. JPA
Okay.
repository as a parent, which is
Okay.
having all the things. Okay. Right. Now here I am going to write a pagination. Now for which name I have a lot of columns. Is it a first name or a last name? 1 second. I'm going to take care of that. Find by last name. So this is public list of person. Find by last name for a given last name. Pageable object. Sir, in a pageable object, lot of people will do a mistake. Java.aw.print, they will take this object and they will tell me that, sir, I am not getting output. Okay. By default, if you apply a brain, you can easily see arg.springframework.data.domain jwt.print. Okay. You can take this. Okay. Where arg.springframework.data.domain.page. So that
Okay.
this pageable object is having the 4 properties. If you see the pageable object, it's the interface, which is having properties, page number, page size, offset, sort order, next page, previous page, pageable. So all this is things is given in the pageable, where I am sending this pageable object. Okay. Now this abstract method, who will write the implementation? JPA repository will write the implementation for pagination. Developer need to set offset and size values only. Okay, right. Now I'm going to take care of service, in-person service. Now by default is a pageable is an interface, right? It's a pageable is an interface. Can I create an object? No, right? So what Spring Boot is giving is, it is giving page request arg.springframework.data.domain, which is equal to page request. Okay, where it is going to give you written person DAO dot find by last name, which is last name, as well as page request. So what exactly a page request means? If you go to the implementation of this page request, it's a class. It's a class which extends abstract page request. If you go to here, it implements pageable. You saw that? It implements pageable, right? Understand, guys? So a pageable is an interface. I want to give the data. I cannot give the data to the interface, right? Directly. Ideally, I need to take a class. I need to implement that interface and I'll instantiate that class. So framework is giving that instantiation class is page request. So here I am writing page request. Automatically page request will be casted to boxing and unboxing, right? It will be casted to the pageable object. That's it. I have a service method with the pagination logic. Now I'm going to write a pagination here. Here I'm going to write a pagination. So what I'm going to do is yes. Now here I'm going to explain pagination without sorting person service dot last name for a given Kumar. I want only half set as well as size. I'm only giving two properties. Half set is 0, size is 4 records. Okay. I'm going to call this method find by last name. Mr. Prasad, you are
Yeah,
on.
yeah,
Can you go on mute if you don't mind? Or
yeah,
you
yeah.
have a question actually?
No, no,
If
no
possible,
question.
yeah. Can you go on mute if you don't mind? Yeah. So here person service dot find by last name. For a given last name, I'm going to I'm asking only the first 4 records. Where it is internally writing a query, select a star from person, where last name is equal to Kumar. Something it is going to write a row number or some logic which is going to take care of that. Okay. So by default, how many Kumars are there? I'll open that my database. Yes. So what database I connected here? Where last underscore name Kumar. How many records are there here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 records are there, right? For a given last name of Kumar, 8 records are there. I don't want 8 records. First 4 records only. 1, 2, 5, 6. Am I right? Yes or no? Now
Yes,
you'll
sir.
see the output. You'll see the output here where I'm going to call this display pagination and I'm only asking the first 4 records and I'm printing the records. That's it. Yeah. You saw the first 4 records only, right? What query you got it? Select a star from person where last name is equal to Kumar. A limit keyword is introduced in MySQL. A limit keyword is there in MySQL, which is going to take care of that, but it is giving only first 4 records. 1, 2, 5, 6. You got the first 4 records only, right? Yes. Now I want to write a code with respect to sorting also. Am I right? So I'm going to comment this code and I'm going to uncomment the other portion. So what I'm going to do, that is I'm going to direction. Yes. I'm going to take the first page. 0, 3 means what? First 3 records, right? What I'm giving here? I want to find the person whose last name is Kumar. I need top 3 records. Ascending order of first name. What query it is going to print? Where last name is equal to Kumar. Order by first underscore name. Ascending order. Am I right? Yes or no? This is the query it is going to print, right? The order will change now. Because first name ascending order. 6, 12, something like that. This order it is going to print. So first 3 records, it's a first page. Offset is 0. Page size is 3 records, and which is going to give me first 3 records 6, 12, 1. Next one is second page 1, 3. 0, 3 means first page. 1, 3, that is second page. It is going to print 4, 5, 6. 7, 2, 8. These 3 records will come. And third page 2, 3, which is going to print 2, 3, which exact it is going to print third page. But here in third page, I don't have 3 records. 5, 11 only is there. That's fine. How many are there? It is going to display. Fourth page 3, 3. You don't have any data at all. It will be empty. Okay. So what I write a code here is, whenever you click on first page, this call you need to make. Whenever you click on first page, you need to make this call. Whenever you make a second page call, you need to make this call. Whenever you click on third page or fourth page, you need to make a call. Okay. On every page, whatever the page you are clicking, you need to set that half site, that size. Then only the number of records will be displayed. Okay. Now I'm going to showcase the output. Sridhar, you have any question?
No. Okay, I'll mute.
Okay. Fine. Now I'm going to showcase this. Now you saw here, first page, 6, 12, 1. Am I right? Is it matching? 6, 12, 1. Matching, right? Next. 7, 2, 8. 7 to 8. 7 to 8. This is also matching, right? 6, 12, 1, 7 to 8. Next. 5, 11. Only 2 records. Last 2 records. Fourth page, we don't have any data. So like that, because I don't have a huge number of records, that's why I give my page size 3 records or 2 records, something like that, where I can apply this particular pagination logic. Okay, let me repeat here. A simple code you need to write. You need to write an abstract method of a pageable object. Okay, you just need to write abstract method. What is your abstract method? A pageable object you should have as a parameter, and you need to write a service with a page request, and front end will give you the data like what is your offset and size and which column you want to sort and which direction. That's it. You no need to write any implementation. Internally framework is going to take care of that particular pagination. Clear everyone? Any questions as of now? Let me share the code here. As of now, I am sharing the code.
Sir, I have one question on that. Like you were sorting on the one field. If in case of we want to sort on two fields, so how we are going to handle this? Oh,
Okay. I didn't explain this. I'm going to explain. I didn't explain this. Okay. By default, do you saw any front end or any real-time application? Forget about database. Okay. Forget about database. The question what whoever you asked just now, it's a very valid question. And if I am attending that interview, and if you are getting that question, how I can sort with 2 columns using JPARepository, then my answer will be, by default, JPARepository does not have an option to sort the data with 2 columns. At any point of time, sorting is allowed with only 1 column. But I feel that it is not a limitation. Any front end you take, any real-time application you take, you always will have a sort the data with only one option. If you take Amazon, sort by relevance. If you take YouTube, you have a sort by uploaded account, relevance, uploaded date, number of people who watched that video. Like that, we have some sorting columns are there, right? Sorting. At any point of time, you cannot select more than one value. In real time, sorting is allowed with only one column only. Okay. But in database, I can sort using 2 columns, but it is not applicable for the front end. But if you have that requirement, you need to write your own code. You need to get the data. But by default, using JPARepository with a pageable object, only 1 column is allowed for sorting. Is it clear? Sir, whoever is asking the question, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. So topic is pagination, where I'm going to go for I'm going to share the code pagination. This is a code. The running nodes. Slides. Okay, right. So everyone is clear, right? Now the next operation, next advanced operation, which is equal to asynchronous data GPA. The next topic which I want to go inside GPA is asynchronous data GPA. What is synchronous? What is asynchronous, guys? Anyone have any idea? What is synchronous? What is asynchronous? No one?
Synchronous means the client will wait for the response. Everything happens, the request and response in a single call. Asynchronous, it sends a request and that's it, and it gets the acknowledgement, and then it will find the response after that.
Yep. Okay. It's a right answer. Okay. By default, what I'm trying to convey a message is synchronous is nothing but, for example, I will explain in a clear way. Okay. Whenever you are asking a question and if one more participant is also asking the same question, some other question, he need to wait till he asks the question. He need to wait till I answer his question. Then only next person turn will come, right? So, for example, when person A is asking a question, person B is also trying to ask the question. Now, person B should wait till person A asks, and again you need to wait till faculty is going to respond to you with person A's question. Okay, so that is called as synchronous. I'm asking you, I'll wait till you give me the data. That is called as synchronous. But whereas asynchronous is typically, I asked you data, I'm asking you, it's up to you. Whenever you give me, I don't care. I will not wait for your response. Like participant A is asking, I don't care, sir, when you answer me. I'm also asking at the same time. For example, 40 persons are there. Assuming 40 threads, I'm listening. Assuming that, I don't have a 40 threads here, but typically a processor is having 40 threads. All 40 will be taken at the same time and it will respond. Thread 1, this is your response. Thread 2, this is your response. Thread 3, this is your response. Thread 4, like that. It is going to give, okay, by default, it is going to give a typical answer of asynchronous. You're asking me data, I will give you at later point of time. So that concept is called as asynchronous data JPA. Okay. So what exactly asynchronous data JPA means? I am asking some data from database. Okay. I'm asking the data from database, and database is going to give me the data. Database is going to give me the data, but not immediately. It is going to take some time. I don't want to wait that particular time. That is asynchronous. Okay. By default, in a database terminology, most of the calls are synchronous calls only. Some calls will be asynchronous calls. What is immediately after answering these questions, synchronous and asynchronous? Immediately interviewer is going to ask you, did you work on any time asynchronous behavior? You can ask a question. Did you work on any time on asynchronous behavior? And where you applied, what is your scenario? Interviewer is going to stress you if you worked on this area. Okay. So by default, whenever he asks you asynchronous data JPA, you will answer in saying that yes, if you are calling a API, if you are getting the data from database and you are waiting for the response, it's a synchronous call. If you are not waiting for the response, and database will update you once the data is ready, that is typically a asynchronous call. After explaining that, interviewer is still expects from you saying that at which scenario you have used synchronous, at which scenario you have used asynchronous. That you need to explain to the interviewer. Anyone worked on asynchronous nature in your real time? Or can you answer my question? Can you explain me your real time project content or real time project scenario on asynchronous nature? Yes, in this scenario, I have used asynchronous nature. In this scenario, I have used synchronous nature. Any kind of scenario in your real-time implementation, you've used that? Anyone?
I had a scenario, but I'm not a programmer. But my scenario is it's fundamentally an e-commerce application. Let's say that I had an order for one item for the inventory, and I sent from the inventory. I sent saying that update the inventory from, let's say, 100 to 120. I sent that request to a messaging system in between, middleware messaging system like RabbitMQ, and where that server will take and process that as asynchronously, and it will update the inventory for that particular item later.
Okay, fine. So you are using a third-party framework like RabbitMQ. Okay, I'm specifically looking for JPA, where did you use any framework with database or any framework related to JPA? Asynchronous database calls, not on a functional point of view. So I agree to your point. Your scenario is valid, especially in case of e-commerce framework. Whenever you want to update your inventory, once order is confirmed, updating the inventory is a synchronous call. I will keep that order object into the queue, and that queue will be called by the stock service, and that stock service will update that inventory. It will be updated clearly. We don't have any confusion in that particular flow. That is typically a asynchronous nature. It's a right example. Okay. But in a database point of view, you have any such scenario? Not only you, anyone. Yes, we have some scenarios are available here. Maybe I'll go through that scenario. I'm giving here internally a home loan calculation example. Okay, home loan calculation example. I'm going to give that. I'll explain because it will take 20 to 25 minutes to explain that. Tomorrow I'll explain and how to use this asynchronous behavior for that. With that, tomorrow I mostly complete the data JPA. Then I'll go for transaction management. Then I'll go for security. Okay. Immediately after this, transaction management will be starting like AOP. After transaction management is over, then I'll go into security, and security I'll take 15 to 20 classes only on security. Then I'll go to microservices, 20 classes for microservices I'm going to take. Then I'll focus on other topics like gateway, Eureka, circuit breaker, RabbitMQ, all those things. It will take 20 to 25 classes. Then pending topics will be there like Docker, as well as ELK stack, as well as Angular integration, SSL communication, as well as cache, Swagger, REST template, all those things are going to take some. Okay. A high level content. As of now, I explained only one topic, and tomorrow I'm going to complete that topic if time permits. Otherwise, day after tomorrow. After that, I'm going to start transaction management. Okay.
You will not teach Spring Cloud.
It's a part of microservices only.
Okay.
Okay, guys. Thanks everyone for today. Have a great
Class.
day. Sorry.